Make
There
sure
you
I'm,
go. Don't you make sure you're on the call.
that's pretty much it.
All right, before we jump, what's the feeling out there in the marketplace? What are you feeling?
I'm busy.
Okay.
I'm busy
Busy's
with
good.
buyers right now. I guess, we still have the snowbirds in town.
Yep.
They're seeing the inventory. They're watching the prices go down and and they're buying. They're not just looking, they're buying.
Yeah. You mean the spring breakers aren't buying? I'm
No,
kidding. Yeah,
we don't want those.
yeah. The I think busy is good. I just want to make sure it feels like we're putting stuff under contract. And we're going to look at that today, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else? What are you feeling out there in the marketplace? How are the open houses going? How are the phone calls going? How are your showings going? Give me a feeling.
I see a lot of
Brett,
foot traffic at open houses.
Okay.
I'm having I had a rental go live that we've had this is the second time I've listed it. Last year it was like crickets for a little bit and this now I had multiple offers over the weekend at full price. So, just a rental, but I think, it's an interesting indicator just 6 months in between that it was positive this time around.
Yep. Different market, right?
Mhm.
All right. So Broward County single family, 925 active status changes, which is really good for Broward County single family. I noticed this 29 coming soon. It feels like a lot of people are getting ready, and there's a lot of inventory about to hit the market. Um, I don't have data outside of coming soons to push that, but I'm hearing a lot of agents tell me they've got listings in the pipeline about to pop. 200 under contract, 197 pending. We're still like putting quite a bit of property under contracts on a week to week basis. And 286 closed out in the last 7 days. Now, explain to me that we had more closings the first week of March than we did on the end of February. But the reality is, it doesn't matter because that's a big, awesome number for Broward County single family. And then 92 properties canceled, 60 expired. Pretty normal numbers on a week to week basis there. If I do Broward County condos, 1,100 active status changes. Really good number. Like inventory is really starting to hit the market. 139 went under contract, 146 are pending. These are, I think, yearly highs for a 7 day total in Broward County condos, and 194 closed out first week of March. Um, Big numbers. Like if you look down, like we had a couple weeks in the 150 range, maybe a couple at 160 in the last 2 weeks, we were 190. So there's a lot of properties closing out in the Broward County condos. If I jump down to Miami-Dade single family 779 on the actives. We had 167 go under contract, 236 pending. Same comment. It looks like the highest number uh, year to date, 228 closed out in the last 7 days. Highest number year to date for closings. Miami-Dade condos, 1,000 active, 117, 180 pending. Um, Big number here. 210 closed out, which by one closing was the largest year to date. So condos are selling like hotcakes right now. Maybe Elka, that's your comment that the snowbirds are buying before they leave town.
Yep.
Um, and then we've got Palm Beach single family, missing data, Luke. We'll get that updated. Palm Beach condos, we got 845 active status change. 139 went under contract and 99 pending. So it's at 238. Maybe not as high as it was last week or the week before, but still pretty good
You
numbers.
need to
But
refresh your page. That is March 2nd, which is why the week before wasn't there as well. If you refresh, all the data
okay.
will be there. Sorry.
All right. But my here we
There
go.
you
There we go.
go.
All right. Going back. All right. March 9th, single family Palm Beach. We had 951 active status changes, 286 under contract, and 178 pending. Big numbers here. 289 closed out. So we had 309 at the end of the month, and 289 is still a big number. If you look comparatively to what the numbers were on a week to week basis, it's a considerable increase on single family in Palm Beach. And then the condos, we've got 866 active status changes, 179 under contract, 105 pending. So what's that? 384, 284? 284, which is a big bump. So condos like all of a sudden are flying. 179 closings in the last 7 days. Still, same comment. Like if you look comparatively, the last 2 weeks have had big sale numbers compared to what we saw at the start of the year. What are y'all seeing in the numbers? What are you feeling? Are those of you that work condos, do you feel the uptick? Somebody
Yeah,
was talking.
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot sitting, but yeah, it's I don't really do a lot of condos, but I don't want you to talk all by yourself, Brett. So I'm just saying hi.
Van, I appreciate you. All right. Somebody else.
I'm closing on condo in Boca this week for 1.3 million. And I've got a condo in Deerfield that's been sitting. I'm on my third listing agreement with the guy. I still haven't sold it, but I finally got another inquiry last night. So I'm hoping, please tell me it's picking up.
Well, the numbers say it's picking up. And that's why I'm asking, are you feeling what the numbers are telling us? Because I think a lot of you feel beat up by the condo market over the last 24 months. And there's certainly a significant improvement I'm seeing in numbers.
What I've seen, hi Brett.
Yeah.
So I have
Hello.
homes and condos. All my homes are moving much better than my condos. I've had to reduce the price. Finally, I had my sellers tell me what number will it move. And so the comps were at 750 and we're at 700 and now I'm showing it 7 times a day. But I had to do the price adjustment.
Yeah. So getting real with the price, it's probably what's moving the condo market. Richard, I'm curious, you study the numbers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been evident for 2 months now that we've been tracking this, Brett. The market's been getting much stronger in every category in every one of our counties. We're seeing whether this is the effect of the interest rates, which, as we talked last week, I really think it is. I think the buyer sat on the sidelines for so long when it flicked under that 6% for half a second. That opened it back up, and people are out there actively in the market.
Yeah.
And
And I
you
think
know,
it's interesting. One of the things that I think is on the back of most of our minds is this conflict in Iran affecting the real estate market. And I'm seeing numbers not really much affected by what's going on internationally right now. Um, but I don't want to be desensitive to or insensitive to what's going on internationally. My job is just to report what the effect on real estate, right? Like how's what's going on in politically, what's going on in international affairs, how does that affect consumer confidence in terms of the real estate market? Because that affects all of us. I'm not seeing a big effect going on right now.
I don't think we've been in this long enough to see that. I think,
Yeah.
I think people are so desensitized to the media right now because every day is something new and people are living their lives. However, with gas prices sneaking up, if there's going to be, trade issues, if there's going to be any problems with people getting what they need, that's when the lag will catch up and that might affect us. So that's going to
We'll
be
see.
something interesting
Yeah.
to watch.
I think Dave's definitely he's right. We are desensitized because I was looking for flights to Nashville after the bomb threat on the plane, and they are not cheap. People don't care. They're still going to Nashville, even with the bomb threats.
Yep. All right. So moving on. The mortgage rate hadn't moved. So we were at 5.9 when the conflict happened over the weekend, last weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend before. The rates on Monday went to 6.14 and they've held at 6.14. So I don't know that there is going to be any kind of movement in the near future. I just think it's going to hold for a minute, and we'll see what that looks like. All right. Let me see. So I want to hit this article real quick. So it says housing demand is up and inventory is down, even with Iran conflict. So I still think inventory is our biggest opportunity. Do you not?
Brett, inventory is always our opportunity in real estate. Doesn't matter what's going on. If we're out there taking listings, we have the inventory to sell.
Yeah. Um, but I don't know that it's down. So you realize our industry is as most industries, is a relationship between supply and demand. So, if buying demand is up, which the spring market always has an increase in buying demand, but the interest rate environment is probably creating an extra increase in buyer demand right now. Um, are the sellers holding out on putting their properties on the market? Or I just don't feel that story to be totally accurate. I'm curious how people read this headline.
I mean, Brett, this is part of my complaint that I've talked about forever with the media with headlines.
Yep.
Housing demand is up and inventory is down, even with Iran conflict. We've been in the conflict for 10 days. There's no way that we're going to track that immediate of a change in real estate. And yet they're using the headlines in order to sell their clicks. It's
Clickbait.
like stop paying attention to it and just be out there doing what you have to do every day.
Yep.
You
I
nailed
do
it.
like this. Go ahead,
It's
Rick.
it's clickbait. That's all it is.
It's
There's no justification yet. I mean, could the ripple effect show up at some point? Sure. Richard's spot on.
yeah.
I figure unless
Well,
they're bombing my house, I got a job to do. Get out of my way.
There you go, Joy.
that's it, Joy.
I
All right.
just
So if
checked
you
my
look at
Vulcan
this,
7 over the last 4 days. It's 2.5 times more conversations than I did previous month.
okay. There you go, Jeff. This graph is telling to me. So I haven't put this graph on the screen in a couple weeks. So this is the weekly pending sales, and of course it's national. But the black line is 2026. So at the begin in January, the black line outperformed 2024 and 2025 in pendings. And then there was a dip in February, but all of a sudden, as of like the last 2 weeks, our pending sales are back above what 2024 and 2025 were trending at. So there obviously nothing's a straight line in real estate, and it's going to squiggle like all lines squiggle. But it sure makes me believe we're still going to sell more houses this year because we're outpacing the past 2 years in pending home sales on a national table. And I could dive deeper into the Florida stats, but I think this is a very optimistic chart that I could very confidently say we're outpacing the previous 2 years in pending home sales. Make sense?
Mhm.
Reality, yeah.
All right. So there's an article on Inman that says if I was starting my real estate career in 2026, here's exactly what I would do. And I debated putting on this on here because I think as seasoned real estate agents, we always go, "Oh, that's new agent advice." But is it really? It's more foundational advice. And some people restart their careers. Um, and some people revamp their careers, and some people are pushing to be better. But the advice here, this author said, put skills over lead generation. I don't know that I 100% agree, but I do understand the reasoning behind it. It's saying I would start over obsessing over skill development before I obsess over lead generation. Uh, Most new agents worry about where their next lead has come from, but leads aren't the issue. Conversion is. Is that a new agent problem or an all agent problem? Do you
Mm.
have enough leads or are you not converting at the right rate? That's probably a focus question for everybody, right? In 2026, consumers can Google market data, watch videos, blah, blah, blah. What Google can't do is confidence, negotiation mastery, and calm leadership under pressure.
So,
Second
Brett, I
thing,
would
you
argue that
go,
there are a lot of people out there that could be buyers and sellers that you can nurture and build relationship with. I think conversion, I do buy into the story here. I think there are leads that are available, and I think there are people in conversations, and there's a saying that's locked into my head that's always, a question unasked is a question unanswered. So I think we could all get better at the role of quality, heartfelt, sincere inquiry. And truth
yep.
lives 3 or 4 questions deep. That's where relationships are grown. And I think sometimes this surface level lead gen strategy using AI and SEO and or not SEO, but social media, I think it creates a shallow perspective around feeling like you're lead generating when the real relationship's built face to face, toe to toe, belly to belly. And how many appointments can you have today face to face? Two a day changes everything. Even if they're not an immediate buyer or seller, the ripple effect of quality relational energy in a real meeting. So I agree with it. I think lead gen is a factor, but if your conversion isn't deep enough and sincere enough to evolve into opportunity, then rethink how you're taking it to the next level.
So, Rick, I host an open house over the weekend. I have 10 people come through my open house. One feels has some temperature to it, like they're ready to buy. But I still have 9 others. And I'm probably call them on Monday or Tuesday, and they don't necessarily return my call right away. Is my conversion, is the secret in keeping those people in my world for an extended period of time? Or do I just focus on the one that had temperature and move on?
I mean, that's a quality quantity question. There's always quality in the quantity. So I don't think you ignore the nine that are less, hot or more motivated. But at the same time, quick example. There's a brand new agent. She's a mature, smart woman, came from a corporate background, lives on Marco Island. She's a neighbor, realized somehow connected dots that what I do. And anyway, we spent an hour on Zoom a couple of days ago, and she held an open house yesterday. And most of the hour was spent on what's the best way to capture people's hearts in a quick moment. Like, what's the intrigue factor? And it's about asking questions that are not the questions everyone else asks. And so maybe it's about, if you could change one thing about this home or this condo, what would it be? Or what do you love most? Or what do there's questions different than, hey, if I get your name and number, you can come to my office and we can do a consultation and I can put you on a drip and send you stuff. Like, how do you say and do things that are different? And part of this skill-based part is really knowing your market. And so my advice to her was go out and preview 20 condos in a quarter mile circumference or even less than that in that micro market. And instead of saying, hey, do you want to buy it? Instead say, what would be, if you could wave a wand, what would be different and how can I help you find it? Oh, by the way, I know of 3 properties right now that after, I'll be done at 5. Would those be of interest if I could set up appointments? I mean, that's what buyers really want. They want you to show them something. They want something that every other realtor hasn't tried to give them already, which is a sales pitch. And so she called me back last night and said she had 3 qualified leads and 2 of them are scheduled to see other properties. And it's just it's a subtle shift. And I hope I'm helping, but I
You
think
are.
huge difference in the
I think it's a
conversation
mindset
when you have a
around
value that they can't just go find online. They would have already found it if it was that easy.
Mr. Berezin.
Yes, sir. So this is the best topic ever for me because I'm always under the impression that if you don't have a lead, it doesn't matter if you have any skills or not. And yet, if you don't have the skills, where are you going to get the leads from? That said, you can be the dumbest box of rocks in the world. And if you do enough of the activities, somebody's going to work with you. So I think when you ask the one question, is this a new agent issue or a seasoned agent issue? I think it's both. I really do, especially around all the conversations we've been having for the last year on pricing and conversion. I mean, this is for everybody. And I'd rather see somebody have, like I said, have leads and say, Steve, I'm really struggling with converting than not have an opportunity to have the conversation.
Agreed. Focus on relation building, not likes. I'm not sure everybody likes this comment. We're in a social media world. Um, and the comment was instead of just focusing on your like count or your view count, how do you go back and focus on relationship building? And social media is a powerful tool, but it's not a business tool. I don't know. I 100% agree with that. Visibility is not the same as viability. I would absolutely show up in line, but I would not confuse likes with loyalty. The business still runs on trust. I would prioritize real conversations over curated content. I would call people instead of just reacting to their stories. I would meet for coffee. I would host small gatherings. I would build a true database, not just a follower count. I agree with all 5 of those statements. I think relationships 101 is what drives real estate at the most fundamental and the highest level. It's the highest return on investment, your time in relationships.
Yeah, Brett, I believe if you're going to be in this business long term, if this is a career for you, this is where you have to focus. Now, it's not saying that you can't use social media and drive a huge immediate business, but unless you turn those contacts into a relationship, you're not going to be in the business long term.
Yeah, that's a phone directory, right, Richard? That's not a database.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with this also. Chris Cusimano just taught a class here last week about this very topic, and it was how to build he uses a Dream 300, how to build a relationship through social media. And it's through having conversations and commenting and DMing them so that the algorithm builds up and they see the value that you're posting. But it's building relationships on social media.
Got it. Not the reminder daylight savings post.
No.
And I think social media, I mean, basically that's the introduction. You know, it's social. You're meeting, it's like meeting someone at a social mixer, let's say, and it's obviously not going anywhere unless you reach out in a significant manner and create a relationship. So I think social media is not the result, it's the first step in the process.
Well, I think it could be the introduction. It also could be a relationship maintenance tool,
Yes,
but it doesn't build the relationship.
yes.
All right.
Can I add one thing,
Quick.
Brett?
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead, Rick.
it's also about taking a disproportionate interest in people that when you look at, they'd be a great fit for a relational experience. Like there's some people you're just like, okay, they're clicking boxes. And then there's people that show up differently. And being able to even dissecting your database into the 80/20, the 20% that are advocates, that are past clients, that really know you for you, and doubling down on your investment in people that are probably more active and capable of relaying your value proposition. And just as a simple example, if you're like me, I scroll and I check Facebook and I've got 5,000 friends. So what? Now what? But I do a lot of double clicking with hearts and likes. And then occasionally I'll say something. But, we had a grandbaby over the weekend and I'm super just overjoyed and blessed today, feeling just incredible love. Even on social media, there were 180 comments. And that's pretty uncommon for most of my posts. But I'll tell you, I would say 120 were just congrats, like literally a double click or a heart or and look, I'm grateful, but I'm thinking if you transcend that conversation into lead generation or relationship building, let's replace the words with real estate. Don't just like and click and congrats. Like it's the extra sentence or two that shows you really stopped and thought about it makes all the difference in the amount of reciprocal love I feel. Those I feel like I have to now respond to the response. Does that make
Yep,
sense? Like it starts a
100%.
conversation. It's not just a passive drive-by.
On the contrary, one of our assistants, Daniela, had a baby, and I took a picture and posted it with her baby and got nothing short of 40 direct message congratulations. I guess they all thought I just had a kid, and then somebody thought I had a grandchild. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not old enough yet.
I
But
saw that. I
apparently,
wasn't sure what you were doing.
maybe the aha is post more pictures with babies. All
Babies and
right,
puppies.
there you go. All right. Adam is a big data source. If you attended our State of the Industry, Richard and I did, there was a whole conversation around this rental yield. And we always talk about the value of owning real estate, owning versus buying, this, that, and the other. But the gap got really large where it was way cheaper to rent than to own. And I think that that's starting to come back together, which is a positive for us in the real estate space. Richard, you any comments?
On a personal basis, I can tell you our rentals that are coming up for renewal are not getting what they were in the past.
Okay,
That's real-time
interesting.
data.
Yep.
There you go. All right, I'll hit this article, and there's one other article. We always post the articles. You can read them all. Um, there was a negative jobs report that keeps mortgage rates calm amid surging oil prices. So, you got to realize our mortgage rate, which drives a big chunk of our real estate environment, um, there's a complex formula. And I think the consumer or even us as real estate agents want to think that it's if this happens, then this happens. Like if we have an Iran conflict, it's going to raise mortgage rates, or if gas prices go up, it's going to affect mortgage rates. Like there's a complex formula that goes into pricing, and the jobs report is certainly part of the Federal Reserve's mind share when they go to pricing the prime rate, which indirectly affects the mortgage rate. Um, and it's just all to say that it's not one to one. There's more complexity to it. And this article is just saying that labor data doesn't improve over the year, even the Fed hawks might have to flip. Clickbait, right? So the job environment, which why that's important to us in real estate, you have to have 9 times out of 10, if you're buying with mortgage or leverage, you have to have money, job, and credit, right? So the job market does affect our industry, and I do believe it translates to consumer confidence as well. Any smart thoughts?
I think you nailed it.
All right. Um, I'll save this other article for next week so we can be on time. Any final parting thoughts from the Brain Trust that we all are?
Just a reminder that there's probably 10, 15, 20, 50,000 potential clients right at your doorstep. And that, again, a question unasked is a question unanswered. And the difference between average and superstar is one quality conversation that turns into a sale a month. It's not, to feel overwhelmed. I mean, you're literally one conversation from doubling your income in April.
There you go. Have a good week.
Be good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Good to
guys.
see you.
This is amazing.
Hey, thanks for